We have a little drama in the influencer gambling space. I came across a lawsuit the other day filed by Sean Perry against Michael Meterman, known as Mikki, William Darnell Smith, known as Mazi VS, and Charlie Cavalier, an ex-employee of Sean Perry. Back in March earlier this year, Sean Perry and Mazi VS got into a little boxing match, some fun drama for a video that I made. I hope you watched it. But I came across Sean at that time talking about Mikki, and I was really confused, and I saw him post this on his Instagram.
Mikki, you made some very serious false allegations against me. Why don't we cut off this fucking internet beef and we settle like men? Come meet me in the ring.
He's talking smack about Mikki. He also made another video, which we'll cover right here. He's saying really bad things about Mikki. So clearly these two are like rivals, right?
All right, so I just got word the biggest fraudster on the internet, Mikki Mazi, is going to be on this Twitter space tonight. So what did I do? I retweeted, said I'd love to join the space and call out and expose Mikki Mazi, the biggest fraud on the internet, face to face. I personally DM'd the guy, Elf, to get on.
So Elf runs Twitter Spaces for the gambling community, really popular, gets them all on the podcast. I'm seeing this and thinking that Sean and Mikki must have a really deep past. Clearly, he doesn't like him at all, the biggest fraudster on the internet. So then I look at the lawsuit. Beginning in March 2025, defendants, acting individually and or in concert, began perpetuating a false narrative that Perry S.A'd a woman. Now, in this video, I'm going to have to cut out one of the words, just it's grape. So understand that this is sensitive content. But this was a really interesting case because apparently the defendants are making false allegations. But then when I start doing research, I come across this podcast filmed in early 2024, so about a year prior to what's being claimed in the complaint. Mikki and Sean, that's right, you are seeing them on a podcast, and they appear to be really close friends.
Yeah, so this is Sean Perry. So this is my boy a long time, right? Okay, so he's a sports sharp, right? He's an actual winning sports bettor.
But we just saw a couple videos of Sean calling out Mikki, calling him the biggest fraudster, right? Well, let's see what else he has to say. Let's see what Sean has to say about Mikki.
Mikki is the only dude in this world that I've ever found that is able to actually beat, for instance, the table games. Like, he is a lifelong winner in Baccarat.
Interesting. So he's making this claim now. So what happened in the year after these podcasts? They were really close, and now he's talking about the biggest fraudster. So now I give it a chance real quick about the video, since it's gotten 3.5 million views between the two videos, and a lot of people have seen it, gotten more hate than I can imagine from that video. So I want to point out that I'm always open to giving someone a chance to respond. I made an unprovoked video about Mikki. He never scammed me. I never received an email about him scamming people, or he had a course on how to win at Baccarat. I've always believed that Baccarat has no edge because I'm appealing to, there's experts in the field that claim that, and I'm no expert in poker. Many people claim that Baccarat has no edge, so that's my opinion as of right now. My energy is much different around someone who has scammed me or someone who emails me. Understand that, you know, Mikki never did anything to me, so I'm not going to show up and be like super rude to him. I just wanted to go interview him, see what he had to say. I'm obviously not a poker expert. I think the whole poker community like hated me for a little while. I had some really ugly threads on I think 2+2 forums is what it's called, because the poker community obviously could ask much better questions than I could. I'm no poker expert, and so I obviously couldn't have I didn't have the ability to have like really good responses to his statements because I'm not an expert in that field. So after the video, I had a tenant that had access to player cards. I've seen some celebrities' player cards, really interesting to see them. And Mikki's player card was actually a massive, massive winner. I had a casino executive call me from one of the casinos here in Las Vegas. He was down around 72,000 at that book. So 72,000, and then was up far more at the other casinos that I was given access to through my tenant. And then I ended up hanging out with Mikki after the video. And I said to his face, I was like, look, man, the video did pretty well, but like, you got to tell me, did you lie to my face? You know, be honest with me. It's cool. Like, the video's already done. I can't go back and edit it. Just tell me straight up. And he goes, no, look. He went through all of the statements on his phone. I watched him log in, refresh, log in with his credentials. I saw a couple years where he was in the negative. It was like negative 18,000 or negative 50,000. So I could see the difference between a negative year and a positive year. And then a couple of the years showed a plus a profit of like 11 to 14 million, totaling, as we'll see Sean talk about in a second, about $30 million. That's what I've seen. So my ethical line with false accusations is that I try not to ever make accusations without some type of proof. And so with Mikki, I'm very skeptical. I've always been skeptical you can win at some table game. To this day, I still don't think anyone has an actual edge. However, if all the evidence I've seen shows that someone is winning, that's what I can only report on. I can't see that someone's a winner, or at least up. All the evidence appears to be that they are up, and then I go on YouTube and make a video saying they're a fraudster, or they're a liar, or a scammer. Like, I don't have any proof of that. And so I've been asking people for the last 4 years, if you want me to make a video calling somebody a fraudster, I need to see proof. And as of right now, you have my word. I have not received anything indicating that he's possibly a fraudster, or that the $30 million claims that he has for baccarat profit is false. Filing lawsuits against a friend might lead to some mental health challenges. Thanks to today's sponsor, BetterHelp, we can all have access to a therapist who can provide us with unbiased, helpful advice if our mental health is suffering. I went to therapy a few years ago when I really needed it, and I recommend others doing the same. An estimated more than 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental health challenges, which totals nearly 60 million people. In response to this, BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to be a support system while you're in need. If you find yourself struggling with mental health, it's totally okay to admit it to yourself and search for solutions. And hiring a pro is usually the best way to solve problems. The therapist they pick for you will have tons of experience dealing with whatever you're going through. Every single one of their therapists is licensed, has a master's or doctorate's degree, and has spent over 3 years and 1,000 hours working with people just like you. And if you need to switch therapists for whatever reason, BetterHelp makes it easy on you with no cost or worry. If you think therapy is for you, then I'd highly recommend joining the over 4 million people who have used BetterHelp. Use my link down below, betterhelp.com/Spencer Cornelia, or choose Spencer Cornelia during signup for a special 10% discount off your first month of therapy. Back to the complaint. Mikki falsely and maliciously stated that Perry graped someone on the X account at Yelf, who hosts the Twitter Spaces. This is one featuring Sean Perry. So at this moment it is just Sean speaking, and we'll hear what he has to say.
So I was just like talking with Mikki the other day, and I'm like, yo, I want to start a podcast, blah, blah. He's like, that's a great idea. You would can do great. Like, you're a great speaker. You have a lot of great stories to tell. And dude, yeah. Mikki and I, like I said, we were boys. We've gone on trips together. We've been to a lot of events. We've known each other for years. I knew Mikki before I came to the internet because I was playing in cash games with him all the time, right?
That paragraph I just shared with you is very serious allegations, isn't it? That happened because it all started here. They were wanting to start a podcast together. Okay, that's how this whole story started. They were going to start a podcast together. They were boys, as Sean claims. Let's hear the next clip.
Mikki is up lifetime playing baccarat, by the way. I just want to set the record clear. Mikki won like about $30 million playing baccarat. He went back on a little downswing, and he lost almost all of the money, though, playing poker.
Sean is clearly and was clearly close to Mikki. They were friends. I don't want this to come across as legitimizing Mikki in a way that's like, you should give him money to gamble, because I don't endorse anyone going to gamble. But it is interesting to hear that as someone who is on a Twitter space trying to expose Mikki, who knows him really well, also claims that he made $30 million in profits. Next clip.
Mikki charges $50,000 for a podcast.
50,000?
Yeah, well, that's what he was doing. Yeah, that's what he told me. And then he's like, he'd give me a deal for $20K because I'm his boy.
I'm absolutely starting a podcast if I can make that much. In all seriousness, this whole story, the serious allegations, all started because two friends one of them was going to start a podcast and the other one was going to charge for an appearance. Here's another rift in their relationship.
Me and Mikki, we were just like doing some content together, and then we went and played baccarat. We like won like $130,000, and then at the end of the baccarat session, he's like, "I'm keeping half," and I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm keeping half of it." And I go, "Dude, what do you mean you're fucking keeping half?" He goes, "That's my fucking fee."
Hilarious. These gamblers are amazing. They are so full of drama, everything they do. I absolutely love it. I've made so many videos on gamblers, and they're my favorite. After Sean was given a few minutes to talk, all of a sudden, Mikki showed up out of nowhere and completely unexpectedly. See what he has to say.
Okay, so now I have a question for you, Mikki.
No, I have another question for you.
Okay.
Your rape allegations. How are you addressing those?
There's no such thing as rape allegations, but...
Well, not true.
Crazy statement, right? As of right now, I haven't seen anything publicly stated that Sean has committed this type of criminal act. And so Mikki just comes in hot. He's like, hey, there's this allegations about you that you've committed this act. Do you have anything to say about it? Which I thought was a really funny question to ask, how he positions it. Very serious topic, obviously. Now let's check out the next clip.
I don't know if it's right for me to say the name. I just figure when you said it wasn't getting personal, but then you did let it get personal, I'm unsure exactly where the line is.
I have zero clue at all about any allegations whatsoever. And if you want, we can have this conversation taking lie detector tests as well, on lie detector tests, and we could bet millions of dollars that what you're saying is bullshit and what I'm saying is true.
Leave it up to the degenerate gamblers to somehow turn this, there's allegedly false accusations coming into the space, and then the guy, instead of addressing it in a certain way, he then offers to gamble on a lie detector test. I thought this, now granted the topic is obviously of a serious manner, but I thought this was really, really funny that degenerate gamblers immediately somehow turn this event into a possible gambling event. Then Mikki calls his bluff.
Once again, you're coming to the internet again,
I'll
capping.
do that. How much do you want to bet?
Unlimited money. Why don't we have Kevin, your boss, come and post up money, and we'll post with someone, and I'll bet whatever you want.
You pick a dollar amount and consider it done.
Yep. Okay, it's done.
We're going to see in just a minute, Sean actually went through with the lie detector test, and this is where a lot of the controversy started. Perry submitted to a voluntary polygraph test. Someone help me in the comments. I don't know if that's admissible evidence. It certainly caused a little bit of a storm here, and what led to the complaint. At the time of the polygraph recording, Cavalier was an employee of Perry Consulting, subject to the NDA. Around the time Sean boxed Mazi, I know that Charlie was at the event, and he was working for Sean. I talked to him. I've talked to him before, so I knew who he was. They had a falling out. I don't know what happened with that. However, it was around the same time. So my guess, and as it alludes to down here, he violated the express terms of an NDA, providing the footage to a third party or parties. My guess is Mikki and or Mazi obtained the footage through Charlie. He probably knew that Sean was beefing with those two, and it would cause a little bit of a shitstorm by sending them the footage. That's probably how they got access to it. Furthermore, Cavalier edited the recording to conceal 2 of the 3 test results, showing that Perry passed the polygraph. I have not seen the full unedited version of this. We will see an edited version in just a second. It was not good for Sean, which led to Mazi making all the claims he did, but apparently it passed around on Instagram, and Mazi passed around on X. And this is what led some to believe that he was guilty.
Mikki yet again made another false claim on the internet. This time, it was a very serious allegation. And so what I do is I instantly got a lie detector booked the next day, and you guys are about to see the results. But Mikki has been the biggest bullshit on the internet, claiming a lot of things, such as him being a winning baccarat player, but in fact, he is the biggest degenerate gambler loser on the internet. And all he does is lie, lie, and lie. So I booked myself a polygraph test to yet again checkmate that motherfucker.
I would love to see him release the full polygraph test just out of curiosity. However, it sounds like he didn't answer the questions that well, and that's probably why it's not available publicly. The next portion of the lawsuit is detailing all of Mazi vs. posts about Sean and the criminal acts he believes he committed. You can see here on the screen, I won't be reading one by one, but if you want to read them, you can see that Mazi's pretty convinced that Sean engaged in the criminal act. These two are business competitors, and around that time is when they were beefing. They had boxed once, Sean won. There was going to be a second time. Mazi believed that Sean's too broke to come up with the money, so they were going back and forth. This was obviously crossing the line and led to this defamation complaint. Here's an example of one of the many pieces of content Sean made about Mazi. It's really funny, so I'll throw it in for your entertainment.
Sean, what are you doing?
Oh, me and my boys right here just got done ravaging this Chihuahua Bonnie Blue style because his ass didn't want to fucking sign the contract. I had to find a way to fuck him again. Listen, if there's anyone else that wants to step in the ring with me, sign the contract, let's fucking make it happen. Hopefully, it's not a fucking simp this time.
He's so funny to me. All these sports gamblers, you have to understand, I love these guys because they are nonstop entertainment. I enjoy it so much because they're such clowns. They have no shame, and they just go back. They're all frauds, and they just go back and forth with each other all day long for our entertainment. We've made it to the lie detector test time. Keep in mind that this video is edited. However, it is not a good look for Sean. I want you to see if you can spot the mistakes.
So what's best is just say, admit like how you said before, she'll film.
Well, I come up with something for that. Yeah, boy, it failed you on the highest failure rate you can get, 101.
There are 2 levels. Are saying I'm saying it's true, correct?
Well, no, it has to be the whole test. I mean, even your breathing on this one, on 37, did you touch someone in a sex manner against their will? Man, your breathing was just, even though your blood pressure dropped, your breathing hammered you.
So she'll film like the background of you saying that from like, hey, as clear as day, you didn't commit these crimes based off this result.
Well, no, I won't. I can't.
Yeah, so if you see it in the test.
Literally, I could lose my license.
Yes.
Sounds like he is coaching the guy. He's trying to leverage his credibility to create a piece of social media content that makes Sean look innocent. My perception was that he failed one of the tests. I believe I was told that he might have failed one of them. I think in the complaint it says that there were 2 or 3 that he passed. I don't know the official results. I have a feeling the reason why the long unedited lie detector test is not available and why he didn't post it is it probably didn't go as he had hoped. Sounds like there was a question that would lead one to believe that he possibly could have committed a crime against a woman, and it sounds like he answered in such a way that could indicate he was lying or not telling the truth. And so I think this is essentially what Mikki and Mazi ran with. Certainly what Mazi ran with. Now to the most important part, the evidence. What will be found in discovery? I've been told that Mikki has some type of relationship or friendship with the victim. He knows her. And so they'll be looking for any communication they had between the parties because they're looking for a smoking gun. They want to know, was there any indication that Mikki could have known, and Mazi too, could have known that the statements they made were false? That is the smoking gun in a defamation case. How did you reach the conclusion that Sean essayed the victim? Tell me all that you knew. What do you know about this story? Were you there? I've been told it was at a party, and there may have been an interaction between Sean and the victim. I don't know what happened, but that's essentially what they're going to ask. What is your interpretation of it, and how did you reach that conclusion? Where were you during the night? Were you even at the party? If you were out, if you were at your house, why did you reach this conclusion? And did the victim share her story with you? And was it a believable story? Are you aware that Sean has never been charged with SA or rape? This is an important part because Mazi, certainly Mazi in his Twitter account, if you see those, and Mikki as well by making these statements. These are statements of fact, okay? When you're making statements of fact, certainly of this variety, a statement this defamatory, if it's false, ideally there's some type of charges or indictment or something in the press that you can point to that, like, I'm reporting on this story out here by this credible news story. But if you're just coming out with nothing, if you're just making it up and just saying, hey, there's these allegations about you and you just made it up, well, that, my friends, is how you lose a defamation case. The first important element of a defamation case is the plaintiff a public figure. Sean Perry absolutely is, which means he and his attorneys will need to prove malice by the defendants. Essentially, did Mikki and Mazi act with reckless disregard for the truth? Here's an interesting element of defamation. You can actually make false claims and not be held liable for the damages in a defamation claim. The key here is, did you have reason to believe that what you said was false? That is why the victim here, her testimony or her depositions are going to be so important, and also her relationship with Mikki and Mazi. How did they reach the conclusion that Sean possibly committed this heinous act? Why is he a criminal? If they had any reason to believe, if there was any communication indicating that nothing happened or the two parties didn't know each other or the victim is just some made-up person, well, my friends, that is what you would call acting with reckless disregard for the truth. I wrote massive L because despite what many believe, defamation cases aren't just all slap lawsuits and just trying to silence criticism. You can actually win a lot of money. I made a video about Tasha K losing a $4 million judgment against Cardi B, who's one of the most famous people in our society. She actually won a defamation case against the YouTuber. It can happen. I actually think there's a legitimate chance that Sean could win this case. So will the victim testify that Sean and her had a non-consensual encounter? That's obviously the big variable here. That's why all these, when you're talking about lawsuits in the early stages, you can't just say, like, there's one big smoking gun, I can guarantee that one side's going to win. Because there's a lot of variables that are going to get uncovered. The communications alone are going to be really key to this case. And so this victim, I was told who she is. I don't know the full story about her interaction with Sean. I wasn't there, obviously. I'm not involved. And this is what will come out during discovery. But her testimony is going to be the absolute key here, because that's going to be, I think, the major pivot to figure out if there was an encounter, what happened, and how did Mikki and Mazi come to the conclusion that Sean was a criminal in committing these acts against this victim. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching.